Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just thought I would go through the books that I read in August. Now, in August, I took part in a readathon that was based around music and different songs. There were 16 prompts, well, 15 prompts and a bonus prompt, and I completed all 16, so I was really pleased with that. There was a real mixture. I did have a 1 star, there was a 2 star as well, a few 3 stars, a few 4 stars, and three 5 stars. So I'll just get on with it and tell you the prompts and what I picked and then what I thought of them. You have to bear with me because, when you talk about having baby brain when you're pregnant, well, I definitely had that. But I'll tell you, lockdown brain is so much worse. I cannot remember anything that I've done, anything I've read, any of the authors' names, any of the character. Oh, so I've just written everything down, so you'll just have to bear with me if I keep looking through my notes because otherwise I won't have anything to tell you about any of them. So the first one was the Chesney Hawkes song, The One and Only, and that was to read a book with a one-word title. So I went with Wonderscape by Jennifer Bell. I really enjoyed that one. I gave it, oh, can't find it now. Yeah, I gave it four stars. It's a middle grade, and all I can say is it reminds me, it's like very Jumanji-esque. It's about three young people, Arthur, Rem, and Cecily, and they basically, by accident, go back to the year 2473. And it's like I said, it's a mixture of Jumanji versus, do you remember that program on CITV when you were younger, Nightmare? I don't know if anybody remembers that, but like overcoming all these obstacles, meeting all these people and like riddles and things. Yeah, so it's really good. 4 star, would recommend. The next prompt was Bohemian Rhapsody, read a book over 500 pages. And at this point, I was making my way through the School for Good and Evil series, so I picked The Last Ever After. These are in the order of the prompts. I read them slightly differently, so which is why I'm talking about the third School for Good and Evil book now, and the second one later. So this one was basically where evil takes over, whereas good has always won the school challenge every year. Like evil's like on the up, and it's like that battle between good and evil. I can't really say more than that because you end up giving away bits of the book, and it's a whole series, and I think there's like 6 in that series. So I gave that one last ever after 5 stars. It's classed as a middle grade, but I think as it gets on, it's definitely can be classed as a YA. Oh, God. Sorry about that. Yeah, definitely can be classed as a YA. It's interesting because I give the first School for Good and Evil book 4 stars. I actually prefer the following ones, so they've got a higher rating. So that was that one. The next one was pop music, a book with song lyrics in the title. So I went for Maybe This Time by Jill Mansell. Oh, the lighting, it's horrible. So yeah, this one is about Mimi. It says she's not looking for love when she spends a weekend in Goosebrook, the Cotswold village her dad had moved to, and her first encounter with Cal, who lives there too, is nothing like a scene in a romantic movie. Although she can't help noticing how charismatic he is, but Cal's in no position to be any more than a friend, and Mimi heads back to their London-based life. And then they meet again 4 years later, and it's still not meant to be. And it's just a really nice romance. I think I gave this one. Oh no, I give this one 4 stars, so I was impressed with it at the time. The thing I'm finding at the minute is I'll give a rating and then I maybe should wait for a little while and let what I think about it sink in because I can't actually remember that much about it and I do remember liking it. But I also think that the star rating's got to reflect how you feel about it. If it's one of them books that you think about for a long time after you know it's going to be like 5 star, whereas I think this maybe should have been a 3. But I obviously enjoyed it enough at the time, so yeah, 4 stars, would recommend. So the next one was Born in the USA, read a book set in the USA or with an American author. And I picked The Graduate by Charles Webb. I've never seen the film. I've watched the film Rumour Has It with Jennifer Aniston and oh, what's his name from The Bodyguard? Kevin Costner. I love that film. And obviously that's like loosely linked around the family in it is the family in the book. So I thought I found this really cheap on it's like a Waterstones. It was really cheap, so I ordered it in a load of books over lockdown. Oh, I just really didn't like this book. I think this is the first book, maybe the second book I've ever give a 1 star to. Um, but there was just like the dialogue in it. They were just having conversations and arguing over and over again and just saying the same things back and to each other for like nearly a whole page. And I just couldn't get on board with that. I haven't actually seen the Graduate film, and I've been told that like the film is way better than the book. So I probably will still give the film a go, but I can't recommend the book because I just didn't really like it. But if you like the film and you want to give it a go, go for it. Yeah, so that's that one. And the next one was Billie Jean, read a book with a name in the title. So I chose, this was another one from a Waterstones cheap section, I think. George's Grand Tour by Caroline Bermal. I think this is a book that's been translated, but I don't know what from. But it's basically at the age of 83, retired butcher George Nicolo is about to set off on the greatest adventure of his life. George and his neighbour Charles have long dreamt of a road trip driving the route of the Tour de France, and now that George's overprotective daughter is away, it's time to seize the moment. So it reminds me very much of Las Vegas, where sorry about that. Where the film with like Michael Douglas and Morgan Freeman, all the family members are trying to keep them safe in the houses and keep an eye on them, and then they're just like, to heck with that, I want to live my life, and they go off. It reminds me very much of the vibe of that. I gave this one, I'll give it 3 stars. I think I was expecting more from it because it's like on about travel, and I love those kind of books all to do with travel, and I liked the idea of them going on this journey together and following this sporting route. So yeah, it was okay. You know, 3 for me. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just meh. So yeah, one to consider if you like the sound of that. The next one I chose for Can't Get You Out of My Head, the Kylie song. Book you're really excited about. Now I had a book called, let me find the full title of it, it's a long title, Adventures with the Wife in Space Living with Doctor Who. So it was a non-fiction. I recently read a book called The Red Eye, which belonged to my husband. He's a Man United fan, and it was basically by David Blatt, the dad of Mel Blatt from All Saints. And he's a massive Man United fan. He wrote a book about travelling around the world and following all the matches, trying to find a place to watch the matches on TV. And like obviously roped his wife in to go on this trip of a lifetime, but trying to find all these Man United matches playing. Really enjoyed that one. Wanted something along the same lines of somebody sharing the hobby with somebody they loved, and this is basically about a fella, Neil Perryman. It's by who gets his wife to watch all of the Doctor Who's from the beginning. I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but I still found this book really entertaining. I haven't got it physically now because I passed it on to my to a friend, a family member. Um, So yeah, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Definitely would. You don't have to be a Doctor Who fan to read it. I found it really interesting, and who knows, maybe I might try Doctor Who one day. But I remember hearing the music and seeing the Daleks when I was younger and thinking, yeah, that's not for me. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. The next one was Run the World Girls, Beyonce. Read a book with a female character. So I read When We Were Brave. That is by Suzanne Kelman. It's basically a book set in the Second World War, and it's following a girl called Sophie who finds a picture with her great Aunt Vivian in it, and there's a big scandal in their family that Vivian had ran off with a prisoner of war, and it was a massive deal, and nobody ever wants to talk about it. Um, so she's going back and trying to figure out what really happened, and it was really good. Made up to try another historical fiction because, like I said, I want to try more of that. And I haven't read many, so I'm reading more now. I gave that one 4 stars. So yeah, really liked it. If you like historical fiction, give that one a go. The next one was Summer of '69, read a book set in the summer. So I went for Oh, not that one. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I don't know why I've got Prince Caspian. Sorry about that. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I actually think I took that back to the library. This was really disappointing. I give this one 2 stars. It's obviously the C.S. Lewis series. I'm making my way back through them. Really disappointed. Nothing really happens in this book. They just get on this ship. Prince Caspian's there, and they just travel on this ship. I just found it really, really boring, and I don't think I've given any of the others so far that lower marking, but just didn't really like it. So it's my least favourite so far with that series. Next one was A Million Love Songs. Read a book with romantic relationships, and I chose Beach Read by Emily Henry. I gave this one 3 stars. I was so disappointed. Oh, I thought this was going to be so good. Um, as you probably loads of people have read it by now. It's basically a woman called January and a fella called Gus. They both go to these holiday homes. She writes romance, he writes literary fiction, and they both decide to write each other's genre. And it's like, yeah, there's not really much more to say about it. It's just how their relationship develops. It's an easy read. If you like contemporary romance, go for it. But I was expecting it to be a 5 star and it really wasn't. So yeah, 3 star for me with that one. The next one is Queen of the Night. Read a book connected to royalty, and I went for A World Without Princes, which is the second book in the School for Good and Evil series. This one was looking at, well, still that pull between best friends and love again. So is Sophie gonna choose her best friend? Is she gonna choose love? And or is that Agatha? Agatha. Yeah, 5 stars, loved it. Carrying on with the series right to the end. I heard about this series from Kelsey at Bookishly Nerdy. Lighting again. So I will link her channel below. So thanks, Kelsey. Really loving that series and carrying on with it. The next one was Simply the Best. Read a book with a good read rating of 3.5 or above. I picked a book called Just Saying by Sophie Ronald. It's about a girl called Alice who loses her job as a lawyer, and her and her partner, her boyfriend, are struggling for money for that reason. So he invites he asks her first, but invites his ex Zoe to come and live with them. At the same time, Sophie starts working at this pub, and this really old, like ramshackle pub. Really enjoys it. Really enjoys all the personalities and everything, but she's worried about her boyfriend and his ex, and it's how that all rolls out. I gave this one 3 star. Again, it's one of them I had to really read up before I came on here to see what it was about again. And yeah, so it probably does just deserve a 3 star. It was nice at the time. I enjoyed it. When I look back, I think, oh yeah, that was good. I'm fond of the characters, but nothing like major. So that was that one. The next one, It's My Life, read a non-fiction, and I picked quite an easy one for that. Again from I think it was a Waterstones. They're cheap, in the cheap section. Heartwarming stories from BBC Radio 4's Saturday Live. Just needed this during lockdown. So it's thank you to the teachers who inspire us in our endeavours. Thank you to the medical staff who care for people every day. Thank you to the strangers who help us out in our hour of need. So it's basically BBC Radio 4 did a whole show on it, and they put a book together, and it's just lovely stories of people saying thank you. Just really feel good. Needed it at the time. I gave that 4 stars because it's only 128 pages, but really loved it. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's just light-hearted and get you through a hard time, that's a nice one to read. So that was that one. Next one was What Makes You Beautiful. Pick a book with a pretty cover, and I went for a book called The Little Shop in Cornwall. I read the ones that I've not got here I've either took back to the library, given away to somebody, or I took them out on from the library, or it was an ebook or whatever. So I'll just put a picture in between. So The Little Shop of Cornwall. This reminded me of the programme that I watched recently on ITV called The Trouble with Maggie Cole, with Dawn French in it. Basically, a small village and something that happens in it, like everybody knows everybody's business, and it becomes some things become a big deal. So this follows a woman called Claudia. So she's moved to this town. She's opened this little shop in Cornwall. And then there is a bit of love interest there with a man called Jason and his daughter Millie, and it's how their relationship, the ups and downs of that. I gave this one, Little Shop in Cornwall, 4 stars. Contemporary fiction, really liked it. Yeah, just easy, shop by the sea, easy read. Yeah, loved it. Next one was Mr. Blue Sky, read a book with a blue cover. So I went for Simply the Quest, which is a middle grade book in the Who Let the Gods Out series by Maz Evans. Yeah, I think I give this one Simply the Quest. Yeah, 3 stars. It was okay. Nice to meet the characters again. I think young children would really like this series. I'm interested in learning all about the gods and the different ones and about them. So it's Elliot Hooper. His mum's health is deteriorating in this one, and they're fighting the gods of evil again. There's not much to say about it. 3 stars. We'll be carrying on with the series because, to be honest, unless I really hate something, I have to see it through to the end. I can't stop partway through. So, yeah, really like that one. We'll be continuing. The next one, Somebody's Watching Me, read a thriller, mystery, or spooky book. So I went with Lady Cop Makes Trouble, which is the second in the Cop Sisters series. It's a historical fiction, like detective-y type thing. So it's following Constance Cop and her sisters. Basically, Constance is given more responsibility as like a detective, which didn't happen in that age with women. But she accidentally lets a convict escape, and it's all about her trying to capture him back and make it up to her boss. So yeah, loving that series. I gave that one 3 stars. I can hear my cat now. Yeah, liked it. We'll be carrying on with it. Yeah, 3 stars. I think it might be because I listened to the audio book as well, and the first one I think I actually physically read it, and I don't know if that made a difference. I have to really, really be into an audio book to concentrate on it properly, which isn't the fault of the author, but it does make a difference in the reading experience. So the last prompt was the bonus prompt, and that was read a book linked to music. So I picked Riding the Waves by Jane McDonald. My mum had given me this one because she'd finished with it, and I just love Jane McDonald. Love her on Loose Women. I thought she was really great when she was on that. She talks a lot about the cruise, that program that she was on. And I remember when I was younger, that was a big deal. Like those fly on the wall documentaries that are 10 a penny now, and that was like one of the only ones out at the time, alongside like Airline and programs like that. Loved it, really interesting. Gave this one 5 stars. Yes, yeah. So a good biography. I would recommend it. This was the only one I give 5 stars besides the two Skill for Good and Evil carry-ons, so World Without Princes and The Last Ever After. So yeah, really enjoyed this readathon. They were my top ones. Hoping that I can do 16 books this month as well with Bookoplathon. Yeah, so they're what I read, and hope you enjoyed the lowdown. Thanks, bye.